Hello and welcome to Guy Logic. My name is Timko, and today we are taking a look at our top games of 2015. For this occasion, we have assembled our top 5 games on the PC platform, as well as the honorary mention that is not on PC platform, as well as our biggest disappointment of the year insofar. So we're starting left to right with our biggest disappointment, followed by the honorary mention, and then our top 5 games on the PC platform to 2015. So without further ado, let's get started. Biggest disappointment. Developed by EA, Star Wars Battlefront had the hallmarks of what could have been a great game. Designed with impeccable visual and audio fidelity, the game shows you its lovely side before throwing you under the bus. Unbalanced game modes, as well as randomized pickups, result in a game where a few minutes of fun killing people as Darth Vader are quickly replaced by mindless hours of annoyance at being killed by another Darth Vader. A lack of meaningful vehicles, or balance of these vehicles, as well as complete lack of space combat in a Star Wars game, only result in aggravating the issues already present. Though the game has many game modes, the end result is that outside of Walker Assault, none of these are really any fun, and clearly have not had the time and development they need and deserve, making the shooting boring, the dying annoying, and the randomization horrifying. With the game being a reboot of the same title from years gone by, one can be forgiven for thinking that it might have been a sort of joke and not a AAA holiday release. All of this combined makes Star Wars Battlefront our most disappointing game of 2015. Honorary Mention. While we mourn the lack of Bloodborne on PC, we cannot deny its beauty, strength, or madness. From Software has delivered what they are best at, a hard-as-hell game that doesn't forgive your mistakes and punishes you brutally. Built with the impeccable mechanics we are used to seeing from Software, previous titles in Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, the game doesn't hold your hand, doesn't guide your steps, but instead throws you into the wild and demands you survive. Every kill will give you immense satisfaction, and every death will make you weep. An extensive amount of content, new game plus modes, as well as the procedurally generated Chalice Dungeon, give the game a lot of playability and replayability. The game has a faster paced and more intense combat than its sister titles, allowing for more combos and sustained fighting. This will make even the most hardened Dark Souls player take a deep breath and dive back into the loading screen. Which is also the only downside we found of the game. Being tied to the PlayStation platform, its load times are excessive and the game is clearly pushing the poor PlayStation girl to her limits. But if you're a fan of unforgiving mechanics, rock hard gameplay, and an amazing world design chock full of secrets, then this is the game you need to play. Because of this, we're calling Bloodborne our honorary mention. Number 5. Final Fantasy XIV has had the rockiest of starts. After a disastrous initial release, the game has taken massive steps forward with Kingdom Reborn last year. An amazing theme park MMO, the game ticked all the boxes that MMO players wanted, paving the road for the release of our number 5, this year's release of Heaven's Ward. While we have come to expect a new map and new levels with an MMO release, Final Fantasy is showing the world why they can get away with a subscription model. With the release of a new race, various new classes, and a game chock full of well-crafted storylines, amazing crafting, and blood-boiling hard-rating content, the game has something to offer for every type of MMO player. Its unique character progression system, coupled with the many enjoyable ways to get experience, and its rewarding mechanics for replaying older content and helping newer players, have resulted in some of the most enjoyable leveling experience we here at Gaia Logic have ever encountered in an MMO. This enjoyment translates to dungeons, raids, and even crafting content, as players and monsters scale up and down in level, gear, and complexity for each encounter, keeping the gameplay at an amazing crust of challenging and fun. The changing to the base game and the improvements made to the MMO market as a whole have granted this game the number 5 spot in our top games of 2015. Number 4. Prison Architect could be the poster child on how to do early access, a game designed around designing, building, managing, and hopefully maintaining your own prison. Clear communication, great and consistent updates over a period of more than 3 years, the game has kept delivering exactly what it promised from the moment the Kickstarter went up all the way to the very consistent update since then into release. A game that kept adding systems consistently and cleanly, deepening the complexity, listening to feedback, and implementing changes in a very smart manner, this game has brought the prison simulation to a whole new level. Every month was a treat for a new system or upgrade to existing systems, and every change lets you build a prison more complete. From kitchens and mess halls and separate yards to fancy cells and solitary halls of despair. Keep trouble away with shotguns and tasers, or take the approach of helping prisoners by providing with schooling and parole. You are the architect in control in Prison Architect. Endless hours of replayability letting you be as kind or tyrannical as you might want. Prison Architect scratches every itch a gamer that loves sim games might have, and every itch that hasn't been scratched by other games. Layered on top with a very extensive modding ability, making it possible to create new systems, new prisons, and refine the game's already in place systems. All of this combined gives Prison Architect the number 4 spot in our list of 2015. Number 3. Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition. Already a mouthful, this was a tough call to make. Does a game that got a facelift deserve third place? The answer, most definitively, is yes. Taking the already much acclaimed game, the developers took a year and decided to update the game with a huge upgrade, giving it away for free to existing customers. But is an update really worth a re-release of a game? Well, the developers feel that it is, and having played both versions for endless hours, we here at Guy Logic must concur. Enhanced Edition cleans up the gameplay, balance, fully reworks the crafting system that was the game's weakest link, and casually adds a bunch of new items, and rewrites elements of the story to be more consistent and overall better. Oh, and they just decided to fully voice the game. Doing all of that for a game that was already considered one of the best of the year tells a lot about the love they have for the game and the industry as a whole, and it shows in every piece of snark and every hidden secret they have added and refined. If you're not on PC, the Enhanced Edition has added couch co-op with split screen and designed the game to be playable on console and released there as well. All of this combined makes Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition our bronze medalist of 2015. Number 2. As a fan of RTS, there really isn't any way around Starcraft. Legacy of the Void brings the third and final installment of Starcraft 2, a finely crafted campaign with the most amazing mechanics we've ever seen in an RTS game, a co-op mode that is in fact free to play even if you don't own the game, and that they are adding more free content to since release. As well as the arcade with all its modding ability to create whole other games within the game makes StarCraft 2 an enjoyable experience. But what makes it stand so high on our list is the competitive multiplayer edition of Archon mode. Letting you play with 2 people controlling one race, this has made the gameplay multiplayer games way more fun, letting you focus on playing together with a friend as if you're playing single player, but with all the complexity and cool moments of even the highest level of games played in the world, is an absolutely phenomenal addition. But all of that would still not be enough to make the game the amazing RTS that it is. And that all comes down to the meticulous balance of the multiplayer game. All the changes they've dared to make, even this far into the game's life cycle, tell that Blizzard knows what they're doing with StarCraft 2. For all of that, for sheer intense gameplay, balanced to near perfection, and loads of content, the game just keeps on giving it the silver spot in 2015. And the winner, our number 1 game from 2015. Surprising absolutely no one, Witcher 3 takes the cake, table, cutlery, as well as your daughter's virginity. Witcher 3 is a masterpiece of role-playing games of today, where Divinity takes you back to the age of Diablo. Witcher 3 takes a look at what BioWare could have done with Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and does it. An expansive, graphically stunning world with amazing sound design, stuffed with content to the very brim, gives you hour after hour of killer content, with very little filler content thrown in between. Even throwaway quests that may take you minutes are fully voiced and crafted into the world, often having effects on the story that you would never even notice if you weren't in that specific alley to talk to that specific NPC in that one very specific moment. Giving you over 100 effective hours of gameplay, as well as free DLC, an amazing expansion already out, and another one to come, on top of having a new Game Plus mode, and most definitely not least, a card game in the game by Gwent that would, for all intents and purposes, make a fine game on its own. The game also offers a lot of content and crafting outside of the actual story and brings all of it together in the world so it fits like a glove. Exploring a cave doesn't feel like a chore as it does in many other open world games. It feels like an adventure because the game is so full of interesting stories and arcs, even when they lead no further than an item and its description. Endless hours of gameplay, the ability to replay the game with New Game Plus for a whole new experience, and an attention to detail for world building and story on top of combat and crafting gives The Witcher 3 its well-deserved spot on the top of the pile for 2015. And that brings us to the end of our top games of 2015. And while this short list can't do these and many other games justice, we hope you enjoyed watching. And if you did, please consider sharing, liking, and commenting on this video. With that, we here at Guy Logic wish you a wonderful holiday season, and we will see you next time for more gaming content.